Traditional Chinese medicine has a history that reaches far back into humanity's dim past. Evidence of the Chinese ancestors' earliest medical explorations is indelibly recorded in stone and bone needles tens of thousands of years old. Yellow Emperor's Classic of Medicine, the seminal treatise of traditional Chinese medicine, was compiled 2,500 years ago. Cast as a compassionate discussion between the legendary Yellow Emperor and his minister, Qibo, this work marks the maturation of traditional Chinese medicine. The contents of the Classic of Medicine demonstrate that from its beginnings, traditional Chinese medicine was based on a profound concern for human life. Traditional Chinese medicine has filled China's healthcare needs for over 2.5 millennia. Not only has this system of medicine contributed immeasurably to the survival and development of the Chinese people, it has also influenced Chinese civilization as a whole. In addition, the vast storehouse of Chinese medical knowledge has been of great benefit to China's neighbors. More than 2,200 years ago, the blind monk Jian Zhen crossed the sea to bring the Yellow Emperor's Classic of Medicine to Japan, providing its medical practitioners with much-needed theoretical guidance. Traditional Chinese medicine has been passed down in an unbroken line for thousands of years. Throughout the ages, this great humanitarian discipline has ensured the health and well-being of the Chinese people. Chinese and Western medicine developed along two entirely different paths. The former emphasized holistic philosophical considerations, while the latter focused on scientific experimentation. Despite their different perspectives, these two systems of medicine complement each other. Western medicine determines treatment based on localized pathological conditions. Chinese medicine, on the other hand, looks beyond isolated symptoms, focusing on the integrated functioning of the body's various systems. Both systems are equally valid. No one has the right to impose a single way of thinking, especially when dealing with questions of life and health. The theoretical foundation of traditional Chinese medicine was laid during China's spring and autumn and warring states periods. This was a time of great philosophical debate, with profound ideas and theories arising from 1,000 different sources. This great intellectual outpouring impelled the development of traditional Chinese medicine and established its highly philosophical nature. Traditional Chinese medicine encompasses the study of physiology, pathology, diagnosis, and treatment. But, more importantly, it is an application of traditional Chinese holistic philosophy, the idea that all things in the universe form a unified system, each part embodying the whole and governed by the same laws. Over the course of 2,500 years of clinical practice, traditional Chinese medicine's unique methods have repeatedly proven the validity and effectiveness of its holistic principles. Western academic circles have long considered traditional Chinese medicine to be shrouded in mystery. This may well be due to their unfamiliarity with the holistic philosophy that underlies it. Let us now attempt to lift the veil on traditional Chinese medicine. We're we're going to directly examine the holistic basis and fundamental principles of traditional Chinese medicine. This is a challenging task, so let's embark on the adventure one step at a time. Our first topic is the holistic basis of Chinese medicine. Three important philosophical concepts provide the key to understanding traditional Chinese culture. They are the unity of humanity and nature, the family as a microcosm of the state, and traditional ethical values. In fact, these concepts represent the three major aspects of traditional Chinese culture. The holistic concepts of the unity of humanity and nature provide the basis of traditional Chinese medicine. According to the unity of humanity and nature, human beings depend on the natural environment for survival. People are born into the natural world to live and prosper in accordance with various natural laws, such as the progression of the seasons. When humanity disregards the laws of nature, disaster ensues. Traditional Chinese medicine applies the unity of humanity and nature on two levels. First, human beings are a microcosm of nature. The systems and vital functions of the human body correspond to those of nature. Second, human beings are inseparable from their environment. Therefore, everything in nature, such as the changing of the seasons, the wind and rain, sunrise and sunset, the waxing and waning of the moon, and the rise and fall of the tides, has an effect on human life. Together, human beings and the natural environment form a unified whole and are governed by the same laws. This is the essence of the unity of humanity and nature. Of course, this brief explanation only scratches the surface of such a profound idea. The holistic concept of the unity of humanity and nature informs every aspect of traditional Chinese medicine. The Yellow Emperor's classic of medicine applies holistic philosophy to issues including human physiology, spiritual and psychological processes, the individual and society, and the interconnection between human beings and their environment. It is amazing that 2.5 millennia ago, traditional Chinese medicine had already developed an integrated approach to physiology, psychology, society, and the environment. "2,500 years ago, the unity of humanity and nature was an essential theoretical component of the study of weather, geography, time, psychology, and health and longevity. As a result, the relationship between the environment and human health and functioning was a primary consideration in the clinical practice in traditional Chinese medicine. Now let's move on to the three fundamental principles of traditional Chinese medicine. The first fundamental principle of traditional Chinese medicine is Qi theory. A case record from the Qing dynasty discusses Zhang Hongtai, a strong and healthy 50-year-old man who often frequented drinking establishments. One day, Zhang suddenly started vomiting blood and soon lost consciousness. His family immediately called in several physicians. Unfortunately, the doctors were baffled and were unable to help him. Zhang's family then hastened to seek out the eminent physician Qi Binghui. After examining the patient, Dr. Qi did not treat him by supplementing the blood. Rather, he prescribed medicine to supplement qi. The other physicians asked Dr. Qi why he chose this method. "The patient has lost large amounts of blood," they said. "His body is like a depleted granary during time of war. What he lacks now is blood. Why not give him something to replenish the lost blood? How can merely supplementing qi possibly cure him?" Dr. Qi replied, "Qi is the source of life. Only when there is qi can there be blood. We supplement qi in order to replenish the blood." Today, the patient experienced severe vomiting, leaving him with only a thread of qi. If we do not immediately supplement his qi, it will quickly be exhausted. And then, where will new blood come from? Dr. Qi's explanation convinced the other doctors, and they immediately gave the patient medicine to supplement qi. Zhang quickly regained consciousness and stopped vomiting blood. We can see that this case history rests entirely on the concept of qi. What exactly is qi? The principle of qi, or energy, is a vital component of traditional Chinese philosophy. It is the connecting thread that runs through all of Chinese culture. 2,000 years ago, the philosopher Guanzi offered a detailed exposition of qi as the essential life force. The great teacher Confucius also discoursed on this principle. Mencius described qi as the vast animating force of the universe and established its significance in Chinese culture. Since then, virtually every Chinese scholar has had something to say on the subject. According to the great Taoist philosopher Zhuangzi, human life arises from the concentration of qi. When qi disperses, the life force dissipates and death ensues. Zhuangzi therefore considered all things in the universe to be composed of qi at the most elemental level. Traditional Chinese medicine developed the philosophical principle of qi into Qi theory. The great theoretical treatise of the Yellow Emperor's Classic of Medicine contains over 3,000 references to qi. Without understanding qi, it would be impossible to understand or practice traditional Chinese medicine. It was the introduction of this vital principle that enabled traditional Chinese medicine to endure through the ages. Traditional Chinese philosophy holds that all things in the material world, including human beings, exist in accordance with the natural workings of qi. Qi is the source of all things, and all physical objects and phenomena are composed of this vital energy. Qi is omnipresent. Everything in the entire universe is imbued with qi, from heaven, earth, seasons, and human affairs on the macrocosmic scale to the organs of the human body on the microcosmic scale. Traditional Chinese medicine uses qi theory to analyze human physiology and pathology, as well as in clinical diagnosis and treatment. Clearly, traditional Chinese medicine would not exist without an understanding of qi. Qi is both intangible and immeasurable, implying that it exists only in the realm of philosophy. Amazingly enough, this abstract concept has concrete functional applications in traditional Chinese medicine. Since qi has function, it follows that it must also have structure. However, that structure has not yet been discovered. From a strictly scientific viewpoint, we still don't know what qi actually is. The second fundamental principle of traditional Chinese medicine is Yin Yang Theory. China's earliest philosophy is based on the principle of yin and yang, the two opposing yet interdependent forces that make up the universe. The principle of yin and yang is so ancient that the passage of time has erased almost all traces of its earliest origins and development. Legend has it that 9,000 years ago, the heavenly emperor Fuxi used the relationship between yin and yang to create the system known as the 8 trigrams, a symbolic representation of the ever-changing conditions of the universe. However, no written evidence has yet been found concerning this legendary culture. By the time the Yellow Emperor's Classic of Medicine was compiled 2,500 years ago, the principle of yin and yang had matured and developed into traditional Chinese medicine's Yin Yang Theory. It is known that the Classic of Medicine drew much of its material from a much earlier philosophical work, the Book of Changes. The records of the historian state that King Wen of Zhou wrote the Book of Changes while he was imprisoned at Youli, using Fuxi's 8 yin-yang trigrams as his source material. Confucius is thought to have later added a group of commentaries known as the 10 Wings, creating the version of the Book of Changes that we know today. The Book of Changes describes yin and yang as expressions of the Tao, or the Way. Traditional Chinese philosophy's concept of the Tao is similar to the ancient Greek concept of logos, the controlling principle of the universe. According to the Book of Changes, the Tao is the source of all things, and the interaction between yin and yang represents the eternal law of heaven and earth. The Taoist philosopher Lao Tzu was another noted exponent of the principle of yin and yang. His classic work, the Tao Te Ching, contains a brilliant explanation of yin and yang. According to Lao Tzu, all things in the universe exist as expressions of the duality of yin and yang. Thanks to the Book of Changes and Lao Tzu, the dialectical principle of yin and yang came to provide the philosophical foundation of Chinese culture. According to traditional Chinese medicine's Yin Yang Theory, yin and yang embody the essential order of the universe. All things in the material world follow the laws of their interaction. They are the cause of all change and the source of existence and extinction. All things and phenomena of nature can be explained in terms of yin and yang. For instance, water is yin and fire is yang. Cold is yin and heat is yang. The dark of night is yin and daylight is yang. It can be seen that the principle of yin and yang is similar to concepts of duality that exist throughout the world. Mathematics uses positive and negative numbers, and biology differentiates male and female. Similarly, traditional Chinese medicine defines duality in terms of yin and yang. For instance, female is considered yin and male yang. The systems of the human body are also defined in terms of yin and yang in both men and women. The 5 solid zang organs are considered yang, and the 6 hollow fu organs are considered yin. According to traditional Chinese medical theory, normal functioning of the human body depends on maintaining the proper balance between yin and yang. Disruption of this balance results in the appearance and progression of disease and disorder. The basic principle of treatment, therefore, is to first determine the condition of yin and yang and then regulate them in order to restore harmony. Traditional Chinese medicine's approach to identifying and treating disease is based on the fundamental relationship between yin and yang. Excessive yin in the body causes cold conditions, and excessive yang in the body causes heat conditions. However, when heat conditions reach their maximum, they can produce cold symptoms, and when cold conditions reach their maximum, they can produce heat symptoms. Therefore, diagnosis and treatment must not only consider whether individual symptoms are yin or yang, it